So we are headed to the gym. Today is the day. Big deadlift day. Really every deadlift day from now until the meet is going to be a big day because all of them are potentially PR days. So this is the first one. We got 3:30. It's gonna be going up. I'm like, got jitters because I'm excited but like nervous. It's like meet day, but it's not. So hopefully by the time meet day rolls around, it's gonna be like no issue. Piece of cake. So, first week of peaking, I have with me Iron Sage, David, my coach, my secret lover. It's not really a secret though. It's very not a secret. He's gonna talk with me about how the week went and kind of his perspective as my coach, about how I'm doing and how things are progressing. So for me, on my end, I've never been so confident going into a week of really big numbers. I had a PR on my deadlifts, I had a PR on my bench, and I matched my current PR on squats. And even though they're really big numbers, and normally I'm really uncomfortable and not super confident about hitting that, hitting big numbers like that, I never was like, I had no doubts in my mind that all of them were going to happen. Prep's been going really well. I had done numbers just under a lot of the numbers that I hit this week for multiple reps. So I had complete confidence that all of it was going to happen. So it made the week feel really easy and good, honestly.
Yeah.
How did it look on your end?
Everything looked good with all your PRs, although the 270 squat was a match to a previous PR you had. It was still a lot faster and cleaner than any 270 you've done before.
Yeah, and you'll see in the videos that my 270 squats previously have had a lot of knee valgus, especially the one I did at the meet.
Right.
I had a lot of knee valgus. When I did it this last time, my left knee, or my right knee, caved for a little bit, but it wasn't very noticeable or prominent, and I corrected it really quickly. So it's definitely an improvement over the 270 squats that I've had in the past. The bench with 170.9 pounds, it's a 5.9 pound PR, so it's really exciting. I had a little bit of a misgroove, but how do you feel next week's gonna be?
I think it's going to be a lot better, and that's going to come up in the next thing. It went a lot better just because you were confident in the number that you were going to hit. You've been practicing a lot. That's why we do so many reps. And that's why we do hypertrophy before the strength blocks, because we want to make sure that every single rep that you do will build on the reps that you do later on. Mm-hmm. It sounds silly and simple, but it's true. If you don't do a lot of reps, it's not going to work for you later on.
And maybe like the downside to doing a lot of rep work and not spending a bunch of time in singles can be what exactly happened to me on my squats, is that I have a tendency to spaz out a little bit. I get a little too hype. I forget what I'm supposed to do. So when I have a really big squat, sometimes you'll see me kind of bomb down really fast instead of controlling my squat, which when I have rep work or when I, even for 5s or 3s, I'm pretty controlled on my squats. I don't just bomb down to the bottom and hope I come back up. With my PRs, a lot of times I forget everything that I've been doing, and it could be because I'm not as confident with singles, but I think that's why we kind of incorporated much heavier singles early in the peak block versus waiting towards like the last week to hit a single that I've never touched before.
Right. And it also has to do with the fact that even though, yes, you're going into a peak block with singles, you still have to remember that every rep that you do before that, they're all singles. And you should take that mentality to any weight that you take. It doesn't matter whether it's 100% of your max or 50% of your max. you should treat all of them the same. So when she went for her squat, yeah, she forgot everything, but that doesn't mean that she should have been doing singles earlier. In my opinion, she should have just stayed in the same frame of mind and done exactly what she was supposed to do instead of spaz out.
Some of us cannot stay in the same frame of mind. It's a confidence thing. Let's be real. So next week, what do I have going on?
Next week, your deadlift is going to be up to 340, which is an all-time PR, because the 330 was a 10-pound PR. And then your bench is going to be at 175, which
176.
Well, you say 176.
Kilos. Kilos.
It's still a 6-pound PR. And then the squat's going to go up to 280, which is something you've never done before. But since the 270 went so easily, I'm sure you're going to get the 280.
And for next week, while this week I had like all this confidence, next week, kind of looking at the numbers, I do not feel very confident. Like this last week was like outside of the comfort zone. We're like, I can't even see the comfort zone next week. That's how far away we are. So it's very exciting, but also a little terrifying. But one of the guys at the gym, Steven, always says, your coach programmed this because they know you can do it. And, you know, you work hard to get up there on the platform and see success. And I've definitely earned everything leading up to these peak weeks because I've been very dedicated. I have my nutrition on point. I have my sleeping on point. You know, I don't stay out. I don't... You know, my life really it revolves around this meet coming up, and I feel like I'm the most dialed in that I've ever been leading up to meet. You know, I'm mostly injury-free. Find some wood to knock on. You're never really injury-free once you start powerlifting, but I'm mostly injury-free, and I didn't get my wisdom teeth pulled this time, like last time. So I'm feeling really good. Yeah, I didn't get sick. So I feel pretty good going into the meet, and the prep has just been excellent, thanks to this guy. So what's next? Diet update, maybe? Do a little bit diet update. So I was cutting for a small bit, but I decided to just kind of maintain until the meet and then cut after the meet. And even, it's weird, so as soon as I decided not to cut, all of a sudden I started losing more weight. Part of it, I think, is that now we are not having as much training volume, so a lot of the water that I normally carry, water retention I normally carry, is kind of like I peed it out, so I'm not as heavy, I think, just naturally from that. This morning I woke up at 179.8, which is a number I haven't seen in a while. It's probably getting a good, I don't know, since before, maybe like December last year was the last time I saw that number. So I definitely am right on point. I don't want to lose too much more weight right now, just because I don't want to like have it affect my ability to lift. I don't think that it would, but I'm going to try and just maintain at this point and not get any smaller because I don't want it to affect my ability to lift. Yeah. What else? Anything else?
No, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Just remember to stay confident.
Staying confident.
And even if you're not confident, try to remember everything you do when you set up for 10 reps. Do it the same thing for that 1 rep.
Don't bomb your squats, is what he's saying.
Out.
Don't be a spaz.
Yeah.
So hopefully that this next week I can little woo-saw before I go to my squat. It doesn't really affect me on deadlifts. When I conventional deadlift, like, I just go up there and do it. I don't have to think much about it. The only, like, kind of problem that I have there is sometimes it gets a little bit in front of me. Yeah. But other than that, my deadlift form is pretty solid, thankfully. My squat form is not super solid, and it's the lift I'm least confident with, so it's the lift I need to focus and have the most control with, and not be a spaz.
better than it was before.
It is better. So that's all for this week. Next week, more big numbers. Like I said at the beginning of the video, every week is going to be a PR week. If I get them, I'm going to get them. Bye!